And welcome to last time on the What If series. It is the week of What Ifs. We are back to What If Goku went Super Saiyan as a kid, part 2. So we last left at part 1 with Goku returning from training with King Kai. All the Z fighters are still alive. Piccolo is around, I think, 11,000 due to motivation for defeating Goku. He had already defeated beat Nappa. Goku's power is somewhere in the neighborhood actually equal to Vegeta's at around 18,000 at the moment. And he knows the Kaioken, he beat Vegeta badly and then forced him back. So now we cut to not Goku and the rest of them on Earth. We'll get to them in a little bit. We're cutting to the whole situation on Namek. So that plays out roughly the same in some way. Vegeta goes, gets healed up, his power is around 24,000. Then he goes and finds out Frieza's looking for the Dragon Balls on Namek. And what happens here is the fact that, Vegeta can't eventually kills Zarbon and Dodoria, but he can't take on Frieza. So, eventually Frieza collects all the Dragon Balls. That is just the way it goes. I would imagine Vegeta might take the one Star Ball. Actually, no. What I would imagine is Vegeta still hides Dragon Ball and basically thinks, okay, I'm going to get that wish while they bring the dragon. Realize they can't get it to work. And then going to collect the last ball, they go to Guru and Nail. Now, they explain, you're going to give me the Dragon Ball, you old slug. It's like, and if we don't, then I'll just have to deliver you. Yeah, good luck getting it to work without us. It's like, yeah. You need to say it in Namekian. It's like, what? And it's like, yeah, it works in our own language. And I would imagine it works. That's how it works with any other Dragon Ball. It's like, do you know Namekian? It's like, to find one of you. It's like, yeah, good luck. We'd rather die than do that. What if I kill him? Then you're going to destroy the Dragon Balls in the process. I'm getting furious. And it's like, fine, I'll just waste this whole planet then. And then you won't have any Dragon Balls or anything like that. What do you say to that? Nail thinks about it. And then looks at Guru and just thinks, all right, fine, I'll do it. And it's like, good. Now, at least one of you slugs have some sense. Bring it forth. And then Nail goes and brings the Dragon Balls. And here's the thing about this all. Is that Nail is actually a pretty smart guy from what we can tell. And it would be a bit of a forward thinker in some regards. So when he brings the dragon, he knows they can't speak Namekian. They don't know what he's saying. He summons the dragon, and there is a moment of awe. It's like, my. And it's like, well, give him a so we got 3 wishes here. It's like, ooh, 3. Well, first, of course, I want immortality. Yes! It's like, whatever it is, the language is. And then, wait. Can I get that pop going? There we go. Pop, and they just pop out of existence, and they're just in space. Like, what happened? What is it? Is it? Yeah. Then it's like I imagine a note pops up, and it's just yeah. I wish you away. Bye. So yeah, Nail would wish them away. I fully admit that and believe that if they were smart, they would have just wished them away. So it's like, we're gonna go back to that planet, and I'm going to rip his throat out, and they travel back. However, I also imagine Nail would wish for protection from Frieza, some sort of shield thing that cloaks the planet from them in some way, shape, or form. Something that makes it impossible for Frieza to ever get back to Namek. And with that, they would spend some time trying to find it and be furious. Frieza would be livid. But then he remembered that Vegeta heard there were Dragon Balls on Earth. So, he would decide to go to Earth. Now, all this while, Vegeta's still on Namek. Because he's not part of Frieza's crew anymore. And he's going to try to get the lesson. You're going to give the wish to immortality to me, Slugman! And it's like, no. I'll bring it on, all 4 feet of you. So, no, I'm not. And then he's like, yeah, what are you going to do? Wish me away? I'm going to beat you before. It's like, I'll kill you before you even get a chance. And then he's, Vegeta charges. Nail also just catches his fist, like, boom, and powering up. And remember, Nail's power is around 42,000. Vegeta's is only around 30. Nail still vastly outclasses him in this regard. And just boom, and just Yeah, no. And he flat out bitches Vegeta out, and then he would kill Vegeta. He would have no qualms about killing Vegeta. He would kill Vegeta. So Vegeta's now dead. Because that's the thing. In any scenarios where the gang doesn't go to Earth, but Vegeta still survives, oh, go back outside, Mr. B. There we go. Don't babies in here. Yeah, any scenarios where Vegeta survives, goes to Namek, but the gang stays back, that's actually always the scenario I envision. That Nail would be the free thinker and think, why not just wish them to go away? They don't understand my language. And Vegeta ends up usually dead in this scenario. So now we cut back to Earth. Now, I would imagine Frieza would spend some time. Now, there's 3 years for the training of the Android Saga. There's a year of peace. But then there's a length of time between the Saiyan Saga and them going to Namek. I don't know how long that length of time is, but for the sake, we're going to say that's 1 extra year on top of that. So everyone is pretty much living peaceful life. Goku, Piccolo, all the Z fighters still train basically. And because they're all roughly their same power level with the exception of Piccolo and Goku. If I were to say they're doing some light training, Krillin's probably up to 2,000 at this point. Tien's probably 2,500. Chaozu's probably rounding out about 800. And Yamcha is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of around 1,700. So, with that in regard, Piccolo and Goku wouldn't be like friends, but Piccolo would be losing that disdain for Goku. He realizes at this point that he just can't match Goku right now, but he's going to keep training so one day he can. And he would off and on probably train, have some spars with Goku, have some matches, train occasionally together, but would be training separately. Also, I do believe Goku would convince Chi-Chi to let him train Gohan, at least on some light level. The reason for that is, Chi-Chi would be against it. He's not going to be a fighter, but Goku would make a very solid point. Like, well, I understand you want to be a scholar, but he still should learn how to defend. I mean, he's my son. He's got my DNA. He's got my genes, so and you are a martial artist too, so he's got the genes of martial artists in him. If nothing else, he should still know how to defend himself if he has to. I think Chi-Chi would relent on that. Chi-Chi would actually think, that's actually, okay, that's a fair point. He can train with you when he's done with his homework, but only after he's done with his homework. So Gohan would train lightly with his dad, which would slowly help build his confidence up and harsh away some of the fears he has in life. What his power level would be after 1 year, he's only at 700. Let's just round him up and say maybe Goku has given him some light sparring here and there. He's at 800. I don't think he'd be much higher than, say, maybe 3,000 between the full year of just some training with Goku and the occasional with Piccolo, who also helps bring Gohan out of his shell, even though Gohan finds him kind of scary at first. But Gohan helps bring Piccolo out of his shell as he sees there is some probably, because he's a fighter. He sees potential. When he sees potential in someone, he sees potential in someone. He can see potential in Gohan. So, we cut to basically the year after. I would imagine between training, Piccolo would have reached about 20,000. Goku, between training with Piccolo and training on his own. Now, at this point, I think Goku, he hasn't hit perfect Super Saiyan. I think he's pretty much now been training with the Ascended Saiyan form. Because he's had enough time training on King Kai's planet, having a year to do that with Super Saiyan, that he's pretty much had a solid control of Super Saiyan. And after another year of training, he's now hit that Ascended Saiyan form. He's hit upon that, but you can tell there's more beyond that. But right now we're at the Ascended form. I'd say his power level is kicking around somewhere in the neighborhood of around 30,000. We don't know exactly what kind of multiplier or power increase the Ascended form actually gave. We know Super Saiyan's 50 times, and we know Super Saiyan 2 is double that. It's also implied that Ultra Saiyan is either the same strength power-wise as Super Saiyan 2, or possibly even higher, but it's in terms of a form, it's impractical because you're so bulky, it doesn't matter. So for the sake, we'll say that there's a 50% increase, halfway point with the Ascended form. So if Goku were to transform into Super Saiyan at this point, he would be able to hit power level of around 1.5 million and that at 1.5 million, and kick it all the way up to 2 million or 2.25 million if you had to. So yeah, that's what we're right now. However, at this point after the year, King Kai contacts Kami, which contacts everyone, all the Z fighters, say that Frieza's coming. Frieza's coming to Earth. Now it's going to take him about a year from where he is right now, so they have 1 year to prepare for Frieza. But this guy is powerful. Like, this guy makes Vegeta look like a chump. Like, and it's like, but Goku made him look like a, yeah. This guy probably is going to be stronger than, is far more ruthless and powerful than Goku, is at least right now. Which shocks everyone hearing that, to hear that someone that powerful is coming. So they all agree to go through the hardest training they can. And Piccolo and Goku, I think, would both use the Hyperbolic Time Chamber near the end of that year, but they would be going through some hardcore training at this point. Everyone would also be training more or less together, though Piccolo and Goku would definitely be fighting with each other more often than not. Goku would also be pushing himself beyond that. He'd find the Ultra form, but realize this is not the right form. This is too bulky. Piccolo would agree on that. Everyone would be training with each other. Now, they would also Goku and Piccolo would bring up the fact they're going to use the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. They're wondering if they should too. I imagine that they feel like, if you can't, it's like, I think we should all maybe take a trip in there. But if we feel we can't, he explains the risks of it. So if they feel they need to get out of there, they should do it. But on that note, if having a pair of them go in would definitely help. So first off, where are they before they go in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber? Well, a year of hardcore training, like hardcore preparing to, let's get down to business to defeat Frieza. A lot hardcore doing that. Piccolo's already around 20,000. I fully see Piccolo now hitting around the power level somewhere in the neighborhood 60,000. Goku, likewise, I think would honestly be pushing somewhere in the 90,000. Basically, he'd be at his Namek level, power level at this point. Likewise, having the others train would definitely help them as well, and help the others as well. Chaozu is probably 2,000, because Chaozu, let's not the characters. Chaozu is the weakest Z fighter, is even beyond Roshi. Chaozu's the weakest one. Chaozu's powers do not lie in his physical martial arts capability. They lie in his psychic abilities, which are some of the stronger. He's even able to keep a base form, a God Key enhanced Dragon Ball Super Goku at bay for a little while, which is impressive. But yeah, he'd be maybe kicking around 2,000. I'm using kicking a lot, but I like saying that term. Krillin, who I said was somewhere around 2,000, with some hardcore training, I would imagine that, because you have to look at the precedent beforehand. Everyone's power was more or less like a ×6 after training for the Saiyan. So I imagine kicking up for someone who, kicking up the training for someone possibly stronger than the Saiyans might go all the way to a 10 times multiplier. So for that, we will say 10 times, which would put, that will be nice to even give Chaozu. We'll get Chaozu a lower one though, around 8. So that's 6,400 for him. Yamcha would be around 17. Tien would be around 25,000, and Krillin would be around 20,000. So the Z Fighters would be ready. But then you go into the Hyperbolic Time Changer scenario. Now Goku and Piccolo would go first as they're the strongest, and therefore it makes sense for them to go first. So they can get out first. So if the others aren't out in time for them, they'll at least have Piccolo and Goku there. But they figured they'd go in a week beforehand to prepare. So Goku and Piccolo would go in, and they'd be training for the year in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. In that year, I actually think Goku would show Piccolo the Kaioken technique. I think these two at this point, the mutual respect that has grown to the point where Piccolo no longer considers him an enemy. He's helped him grow stronger through their rivalry, and he wants to continue to grow stronger. So I would imagine that he would be grateful for it, and he would even learn the Kaioken as well, because Goku would say, I can show you a way to briefly increase your powers. Like Kaioken shows him that. It's like no. And Piccolo, while begrudgingly, I think he'd feel a little awkward being taught a technique or gifted a technique by Goku. But at the same time, he knows that they're going up against if Kami's this worried that even Goku might not be able to handle this guy, they need all the help they can get. Also, at this point, Goku reaches the perfect Super Saiyan form, and knowing him, he knows there's something beyond that. He's always trying to push his limits beyond. But right now, he's reached his perfected Super Saiyan form, which is basically managing his ki better and everything like that, and fully utilizing his powers. Now, after a full year, 10 times gravity in those conditions, we're going to go a solid 10 times multiplier after that. I think that's a fair multiplier on their part, which would put Goku around 9. We'll just round Goku up to 1 million at this point. We'll round him up to 1 million for easy numbers. And Piccolo, I imagine, would also be at the 600,000 marker. I also always contend that Piccolo, knowing the Kaioken, I think he could always use at least a minor higher level of Kaioken than a Goku would. Reason for that is the Namekian bodies are a little bit more durable because they have their regeneration capabilities. So I think because that Piccolo, like if Goku could handle a times 10 Kaioken, Piccolo could hypothetically handle a times 12. So yeah, I think Piccolo could definitely jack his Kaioken up a bit higher. After that, I imagine Tien and Chaozu would be the next one to go in. Chaozu would have, I think, get a solid increase, like, again, 10. So putting it up to around, well, not 10, because that would put him to 64. I'm thinking, I really messed that up. I think he'd be more like around just as flat 20, just because, again, he doesn't grow the same way as the others do. But I think he'd still be quite powerful overall. Tien would grow, I think, a good solid 10 times. I think everyone's getting a 10 multiplier here. But Tien has a bit of a disadvantage because his training buddy is not as strong as he is by a lot. So it limits his training to some extent. But his multiform technique makes up for that. The fact that he's a true hardcore martial artist makes up for that. So we would still see him reach maybe 250. Likewise, Krillin and Yamcha would both hit around 200,000 and 170 respectively. So that's what it'd be like getting out. So they would get out, and there's maybe a couple days left. So they relax, rest, and prepare for and wait for the fight. They sense the fight coming. They sense Frieza and his forces coming. Now, Frieza would not show up in his base form because here's the thing: Frieza knew what his power level was in his second form. But the Scouters only ever went up to maybe Vegeta's power level. No, it broke even around Frieza's power level, which was around 500,000. So he had to have had equipment on his ship that could measure power levels. And he would measure that there's someone on that planet, not just stronger than him. There's two people who are automatically stronger than his base form, and one of them is as strong as his second form. That scares the piss out of Frieza for a second there. It's like, what? It's like, I see. No wonder Vegeta lost. There seems to be the power on this planet is incredible. Very well then. And then he actually transforms. He's not taking any chances, really. He transforms. He goes past. He's going to arrive in his final form here. It's like, everyone's just like, oh, Lord Frieza, are you saying, yes, it seems we underestimated this Eoth. Let us show them what happens. It's like, yes, Lord. And it's like, yes, Lord Frieza. And then, he comes out. His entire force comes out. Thing is, I think he also would have read that there was powers all over. The one power that wasn't was Chaozu's, which was around 20,000, which is still stronger than any of his Frieza forces. But the Ginyu Force comes like, we are the Ginyu Force! And the Z Fighters, not including Piccolo or Goku, would wreck their shop real quick. But yeah, while they were handling pretty much the actual mob of just Frieza's forces, Piccolo and Goku would be squaring off against Frieza, who they're sensing his power, and it's like, all right then. It's like, all right, monkey, you're the Saiyan defeated Frieza. It's like, I am Goku, and then their fight commences, and between some Kaiokens, I think Goku would keep up a solid times 10 Kaioken, which you could handle right now, and Piccolo would do the same. they would be immediately pressing the edge on Frieza. Frieza would be on the back pedal in shock that they were coming out with this much ferocity. It's like, yeah, but granted, Goku would still want to see how strong he is. However, Piccolo would also say that it's like, we can't underestimate this guy, Goku. You saw how he increased his power up there. We felt how he increased his power up there. And I get the feeling this isn't even half his full power yet. It's like you got a good point there. I was like, let's go. And then they go in, they're doing the fight. Frieza, for the most part, he's just, what the hell was going on? He's getting his ass handed to him for a little bit. It's like, and he heard him say it's not even half power. I was like, I see. So you have the ability you can sense my power. Well, you're correct, Green Slug Man. It's like, this isn't even a tenth of my power. Allow me to demonstrate. And then he powers up to his 50% form, which is vastly superior to either of these two. And he immediately starts wrecking their shop. So Piccolo would come in. They would try to gang up on again. This time both going Kaioken. Piccolo even jacks it up. He feels he tries the Kaioken times 20. It's straining him, but he's able to hold it briefly. He can't even put up a fight. Goku at this point then transforms into Super Saiyan as Frieza just knocks away Piccolo, about to kill him. However, Goku comes in and Super Saiyan just comes and just boom. So Goku is at 50 million at this point, which is not as strong as even half of Frieza's power level. But that's only a 10 million difference. So they're able to fight relatively on par. Goku is the better fighter of the two. Always has been, always will be. He's just a better actual martial artist. So he's able to... So that skill plus the lack of difference in power is enough to keep Frieza in check for the time being. They're fighting. Goku then powers a Kamehameha, blasts him, but it's not enough. And then Piccolo comes in again he blasts Goku away. So Goku falls to the ground. And then he blasts him with a death beam. Goku's not dead, but he's just And then Piccolo, all of a sudden, Frieza sees or hears something and sees the special beam cannon being fired by a Piccolo who's huffing and puffing, but with his Kaioken up. Kaioken times 10, mind you. But with a charged special beam cannon, which can multiply to more and more the more it's charged, I'm thinking that thing's probably around a 24 million power in attack. And it does catch Frieza off guard to the point where it does actually scrape him and actually drill through parts. So he's got a gash. It's like, you blasted slug! I wasn't able to destroy your planet, but I will destroy you! Meanwhile, Krillin's able to get the Goku real quick and give him a Senzu beam, which definitely helps him out a bit. So he gets his solid Zenkai boost. I'd imagine his Zenkai allows him to go up. He's at 2 million now. So he gets back in the fight. It's like, Piccolo! And then just as again, Frieza's about to just murder Piccolo, Goku comes in again, but this time at a 100 million power level after a very welcome Zenkai. And then just boom! Just uppercuts Frieza. Nearly bites his tongue off. And then Frieza just, what? And then Kame! And then just near point blank blast Frieza in the face. Now, Frieza survived a spirit bomb. And he survived a Kamehameha that was basically the same power. It only burned his hand. I don't think it would kill Frieza, but I think Frieza might be, where he was already injured, he'd be missing that chunk of his tail. I think he'd be severely burnt. And I think that arm is not there anymore. I think he's missing that left arm. And now Frieza just, you filthy monkey! And then he powers up to his most powerful form he can. However, missing an arm and a tail, that 120 is not looking like 120 anymore. I'd be willing to bet that's a bit tempered at this point. Still, I think a hair stronger than Goku, 105. But at this point now, it's 105 Frieza, who's barely stronger than Goku, missing an arm and just infuriated. Just boom, boom. And then Goku eventually he's just wearing Frieza down. That's basically it. Because he can just maintain his Super Saiyan form for as long as he needs now, as long as he's got the key to keep doing it. Frieza doesn't have that. Frieza always had that issue with his final form initially, where it was draining his power. His full power drained him. So, he's now getting hits in. Piccolo gets the Senzu beam, thankfully, so he's still alive. But eventually Goku just whams him again, just and then just kicks him around, and basically just was like, I'm going to give you one chance. Leave this planet, never come back. You. It's like, I will destroy this planet. And then Goku said, no! And he's about to throw it. Frieza's about to throw it, but he can't because Chaozu is holding him there with his psychic powers. With Chaozu there again. If Chaozu can hold a base form Goku who has God Ki in him now, who can go at least toe-to-toe with Beerus to some extent, I think he could hold Frieza for a little bit, which then gets Krillin and Tien and everyone there, and they basically just, Kienzan, Destructus, cuts Frieza's hand off, so that attack dissipates. Like, then, Yamcha brings out a Kamehameha. Tien, Goku's charging his Kamehameha. Piccolo's got a special beam cannon. Like, this is what happens when you threaten the planet. Shin Gekko! And then, the Gekko! And then they blast Frieza to oblivion. There is no coming back from that. Frieza's gone. But because Frieza's ship is there, because he's got probably things that record his location, they're not done yet with Frieza and his family. We're probably going to see King Cold show up at some point. I think he's going to see that hear his son's death in the records because the ship's still there. Better yet, I think the few Frieza Force members that are still around, which there's probably still a couple dozen around, they get on that ship and they hightail it out there to go tell King Cold. So stay tuned to part 3 where we get into the King Cold, Future Trunks, and the androids. So that's where we're going to leave it off today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. IDs for Who Would Win, Star Wars, Superior Magic, What If. Anything you do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to it at some point. What Ifs throughout the remainder of the weekend, and then the normal schedule for What Ifs. Box office, and that's about it. Actually, I take that back. Well, maybe not this weekend, but I'm going to be writing down the show notes for an episode coming up. I'm going to start doing some ranked videos, ranked best to worst videos pretty soon. So keep your eyes out for those. I don't know if I'll make them in a separate playlist because they're technically top certain videos, but yeah, maybe I'll go worst to best. Maybe I'll make a new playlist for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.